Aquarius, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for early June 2026. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business as always and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we could stick our toes in the energy and see what's happening for the lovely Aquarius collective. I hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My guide, spirit team, talk to me. What do we got for the beautiful Aquarius collective in early June 2026? It is Gemini season. What energies, messages, insights can we take a little peek at? Yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card, and we'll get into the full reading itself. And at the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot, just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Aquarius in early June. What's the vibe? What's the energy? There we go. Nice and quick. Cool. So normally this is a pretty chill type of card, and I think it diverges because there's two totally separate messages I always get from it. Part of it is like very chill, very lay low. Part of it is also something that's like primping and paying attention to its looks and presentation. Now, before we fully dive into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the June subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, back into the reading. Let's talk more in depth about this card. So as you can see, it's very unique. We have this lovely lady with the wig. She has that little beak mask going, and she's kind of in the midst of these birds. I think they're storks. I don't know what species they are, but what I do know is that she's trying to blend in with them. And that's something I always point out first and foremost. So when I see this, sure, maybe this is somebody laying low, staying in their own lane. Maybe that's something you're doing in this time where it's like hermit mode a little bit, or I'm just minding my own business, doing what I do, staying in my own track. That's a big vibe. Now, maybe you are dealing with somebody that's in that lay low mode as well, or someone you haven't heard from a while. That's very possible when this card shows up, because it's not trying to start any waves and it's just trying to blend in with the crowd, which that's not usually Aquarius energy, right? Everyone knows Aquarius is like, very spontaneous and unique type of energy. Like you could usually pick an Aquarius out of a crowd. So why is this one blending in, right? That's the question I have. Now, if we put that whole thing to the side, someone staying in their own lane and blending in, this energy could also represent looks or changes to looks. So for some Aquariuses, maybe there's certain things that you're switching up, whether it's the hair or the wardrobe or doing physical fitness stuff. This energy is changing something about its look. But we're just going to let her chill right there. I'm not going to bother her. She could keep chilling with those birds. Let's get into tarot. And yeah, I always say that first card, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Shuffle it up one time here for the beautiful Aquarius collective. And while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading because it was very unique. I don't usually pick it up like this for Aquarius at the very least. But the reading was titled Beware of the Gossiper. Now, that warning could absolutely stretch for another couple of weeks, but the thing that I found extra peculiar in the reading last week is that I barely saw Aquarius energy. I saw all sorts of different people. I saw a lot of loose lips, a lot of people talking and chatting about this and, information being exchanged and wrong. It was pretty wild. So in this time, even though last week has already passed, just watch out for anyone that gossips too much, anyone with loose lips, and watch who you share certain information with. But we're going to see what shows up this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone. So only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else, right? Let's get it going. 3 cards for Aquarius. What do we got in? Okay. So these 2 cards popped out together. Before I could even get out the word June, we got the 2 of Wands in position number 1. Not bad. But then we have the 5 of Swords right next to it. And look, it's like he's staring daggers into that person. What are you doing, bro? Let's get one more. Let's get one more. Just to piece this all together. Hermit. So yeah, here's more of that vibe that we've already been picking up on. We got the Hermit. And it's like these energies are observing each other, if that makes sense. It's like this one is watching something else, and that one's watching that one, and the hermit's watching the whole thing unfold. That's so odd. But let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes, then we'll get into that juicy intuitive stuff. But at first glance, you know me, I always love to look at the elements because I feel like that frames the reading and tells us how things are going to flow. And there's a pretty good elemental mixture this week. It's not too heavy one way or another. And I always say, like, when there's too much of one element, that's where things could get really wonky. But we have fire, air, and earth. Cool. Most of this is very comfortable for people with Aquarius placements. It's really nice. So when it comes to fire, I would say that's the suit of action. So the actions you take, the actions you want to take, the actions you decide not to take, or even the actions of others, right? It's health, it's vitality, it's energy level. So I like to see fire, and especially for an Aquarius, that's an air sign. Even though you're the water bearer, you're an air sign. Fire works very well with you elementally. So I like it. The only downside to fire is that it could be very combustible, right? It could be very explosive. It could be very unpredictable. And moving over to the center, we do have air. That's your power element. That's your comfort zone. Totally cool. Air is more pragmatic. It's very logical. It's smart. It's intelligent. It represents either searching for information or giving information. That's why communication is a big thing when it comes to the swords. Highly intelligent, very sharp. Um, the downside to sword energy is that sometimes it can overthink, it can overanalyze, and it could also be cold and detached. But when we have this fire air combination right here on the front, that can cause a spark that we want to keep an eye on as we move through. Then back here we have the earth, total opposite of what's going on up here. So earth could represent stability, security, predictability. Think of routine and day to day life, work, money, business, finance, home, and family. So the material world deals with the earthly stuff. The downside to Earth is that sometimes it could feel stuck, sometimes it doesn't change easily, sometimes it could even feel a bit bored. So watch out for boredom creeping in. But again, these could be all different things. Let's go through and start building it out piece by piece, though. Position number one, we start with the Two of Wands, and we see this individual kind of looking off into the horizon, looking off into the distance, has a little globe in his hand, and it's like, I'm plotting my course. Now, when it comes to all twos in tarot, they all represent decisions, choices, partnerships, sometimes even make or break moments. But the difference with the Two of Wands to me is that it is highly strategic and planned out, right? Like, this person's not setting off on a journey until it has all the ducks in a row. This person's not going to do a damn thing until it dots all the I's and crosses all the T's. So to me, there is something here about planned action. This is what I plan to do. This is what I'm going to do. So again, nothing wrong with that. For some of you, that might just be advice on how to move forward with something in a very structured way. I feel like I've seen this for you recently, and it's showing up again. Now, the downside to the Two of Wands is this could be an energy that's always sitting and always planning, but never putting anything into action. Where this energy has high hopes and a lot of plans and wants to do this and wants to do that, but sometimes the Two of Wands can paralyze itself, where it can overthink to a point where it does nothing. So watch out for that. Um, Again, it's not a bad card whatsoever, but it is also one of my cards of observation, watching, right? And just the way the energy in the cards came out, like with this Two of Wands and the Five of Wands right behind it, it's like they're observing each other, right? Or this one's busy looking at that while the Five of Wands was looking at this. Now, the Five of Swords, pardon me, I just called it the Wands, it's not inherently a bad card. In the positive sense, it can represent determination, a will to move forward. This is can't stop, won't stop type of energy. There is no quit in this card. So when I plan on something, I follow through. That's how we could read these two cards together. I plan it, I do it. I say I'm going to do it, I follow through with it. Cool. But the thing with the Five of Swords is that it does only worry about itself, and there's nothing wrong with self-reliance or placing yourself as a priority, right? But sometimes the Five of Swords can be very aggressive. Sometimes it could be angry. Sometimes it could be mean. Sometimes it can be selfish. And these are things we want to watch out for. It could be very cold and self centered. I'm not saying that to you. This could be somebody else. But again, in the positive sense, it's like, I'm moving forward. I'm determined. Nothing's going to stop me. So this could be actually carnalized in a very good way. So I do like the Five of Swords for that. But if you have any dealings with people that are like very self centered, self focused, that's something to watch out for. And it can be a card of conflict. It can be a card of anger and mad and stressed out, like the whole nine. So we do want to keep an eye on it. But moving to the back end, we have another energy that just seems to be observing from the sidelines, eating a bucket of popcorn. We got the Hermit. Now, Virgo energy, if you have Virgo placements, this could be you sitting right here. And when I see the Hermit, I think of it as a retracted, pulled back type of energy. I'm taking a step back here. That's what this Hermit does. In the good sense, it is very wise. This is an energy that's seen a lot of things, been through a lot of things, wisdom through experience. There's a lot of introspection. This is a highly, highly spiritual card, very intuitive card as well. So keep that in mind. Your intuition and empathy could be heightened with the Hermit. But the downside, it could represent isolation. The Hermit could represent loneliness. It could represent missing somebody or something. So you see what I mean? It's like we have this whole thing where it's like this person's distracted doing this one's watching this one, and this one is watching the whole thing unfold. That's so unique. So I want to dive deeper on all of it, Aquarius. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. All right, let's get a good shuffle here for you, my friends. And yeah, I always like to go intuitive here, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your based knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on this Two of Wands. Oh, and yes, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Aquarius, drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay, why is the Two of Wands here? Two. It's like ignoring something, trying to ignore someone or something. That's odd. So we have the Two of Cups in reverse underneath it. I'm not sure if this is you or somebody else, but it's like out of sight, out of mind, out of sight, out of mind. I'm not thinking about it, not thinking about it, but it's like purposely not thinking about it, and it's forcing itself to think about it by trying to not think about it, if that makes sense. I know we just talked in a whole circle, but we do have the double twos. So that does stand for something. Like when we get the double twos, obviously partnerships could be very important. Um, but it's like I'm observing someone. I'm just going to let them do what they do. You know, like how sometimes where you're observing a child or a baby and it's like, oh, they're going to mess up. They're going to mess up. I'm just going to let them make that mistake. That's how this kind of feels to me. I know that's hyper specific, but there is this observation of just allowing someone to do whatever they're going to do as well. So the Two of Cups, you know, just like with the Two of Wands, partnerships, connections, usually soul ties, people that are really important to each other, usually are on the same vibrational frequency, right? Like when I see it in reverse underneath this Two of Wands, it's like, and I turn my back to you, I shun you. So watch out for that in this time. It's like ignoring someone. I know that's hyper specific, but I'm not telling you to ignore somebody, but it's like an out of sight, out of mind thing as well. We're just going to keep going. I feel like that's not even the main part of the story. It's just odd. It's like if I don't think about it, it won't affect me. It's like giving me one of those. There is a little avoidant to it as well. Let's go in on the Five of Swords. Let's see what that has. Yeah, there is this out of sight, out of mind thing. Okay. Oof. Oh boy. All right. So we have the Nine of Swords in the upright. Very, very stressed, anxious, nervous, or even angry type of energy. This is why. And you remember I said it when it first came out, the Five of Swords? It's like this person staring daggers at this other person. So odd. Um, with what I was seeing last week about the whole gossiping thing and all that stuff, really, really, really watch out for group dynamics or getting pulled into other people's stuff. That's still very important. And I feel like that's still very big on the priority warning list this week. It's like, just listen, don't get pulled into other people's stuff, because there could be a propensity for that to happen, even if you're not trying, even if you are being Mr. Hermit over here. The energy, it's like a vortex. Now, the Nine of Swords, it's one of those cards you don't really need to be an expert in tarot to understand what it means, right? We see this person, they're up in bed, losing sleep. I mean, it's not all bad. Like, again, it could be very intuitive. It could be an energy that, you know, has great intuition. But the big thing here is it's very stressed, anxious, nervous. So I'm not saying it's you. You might be carefree, right? This might be you. Not a care in the world. I'm looking forward. Cool. But when I see the Five of Swords, Nine of Swords, it's like, oh, someone is not as carefree as you are. So I guess in this time, watch out for making other people stress your stress. That's another thing. Because this energy just feels really wound tight. Now, in the worst case scenario, if it's not just stress and anxiety or nervousness, it can be anger, right? And you know how sometimes people will lash out or act angry, but it's only a defense mechanism? There's part of that going on too, where it's like, I only project this anger, I only project this aggressiveness because this is how I truly am, right? Like on the inside, I'm scared, but on the outside, I'm projecting this aggression. So unique this week, Aquarius. Again, only take it if it hits for you, right? Because this is getting hyper specific. Maybe it's just for one or two Aquariuses, for all I know. But I would say for all of you, watch for getting pulled into other people's stuff. We're going to keep moving. Very on edge. Very, very much. So let's see what the Hermit has, then we'll do a quick recap before we get into the shadow. So why is the Hermit here? Please. Thank you. This is an energy that might want to try to step in. Okay. So we have the Eight of Wands in the upright, and this is either one of two things. I saw this in a couple other signs this week, and you're in there too. The Hermit with the Eight of Wands in the upright could absolutely be a conversation or talk that comes in out of nowhere, like an unexpected or surprising talk, conversation, or message. Very simple, straightforward. But this energy also feels like it needs to intercede, where it's like, okay, if I don't say something, then it's going to go even worse. Or like if I don't get involved, then what's going to happen? So it's like this whole chain of events, this whole chain of should I, shouldn't I type of energy. Now, the Eight of Wands is all about action and communication. We already covered the communication aspect. So when we have this energy that's pulled all the way back, then this one pulls all the way forward. It's like an energetic whiplash that I'm picking up back here. It's like the energy pulls all the way back, then it's all the way back in. It's like, all right, well, where are you then? Because you're showing me two totally different extreme things. So again, could be a surprise or unexpected talk, absolutely. But the main thing here is I feel like this energy feels like it needs to come out of retirement to fix something or help someone. It's so unique where it's like I need to get involved in this. Like if I don't get involved in this, then it's going to get even worse. So watch out for a temptation like that. Again, if you're cool, if everything's sunshine and rainbows and everything's good, there could be a temptation to insert yourself in other people's stuff because you might feel like you'd be able to make it right. I'm not going to tell you if you can or can't, but it's still very complicated from what we were seeing last week with the conversation and other people's energy. So let's go through and do a quick recap, then we'll get into the shadow. I know I was giving a lot of hyper specific detail. Again, only take what hits for you, my friends. But if you kindly look in the box, position number one, we got the double twos, two of wands, two of cups in reverse. It's an energy like out of sight, out of mind. I'm going to ignore this, shunning this, turning my back to this. It's like trying to ignore something. And there is like this little avoidant energy. Then we have this angry or nervous energy here in the center that's like staring daggers into this one. Like, how dare you turn your back to me? Um, it's just, and also like projecting aggression and strength due to being scared. That's another thing. It's like so specific this week. Um, so watch out for being high strung, but I think the overall thing for most Aquarius is getting pulled into group drama or other people's stuff. Because when we get to the back end, I have the Hermit with Eight of Wands. This could be a surprising, unexpected talk or message for sure. But to me, it also feels like it's an energy that needs to come and insert itself before things go haywire. So just know the energy could be pulling you in, even if you're not letting it. So please take a screenshot if you want to look into that further. Let's see what's in the shadows. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here for you. And yeah, I always like to pull a shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge, they could be a good thing too. So let's get you one. And yeah, if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel. I have much love for all my channel members. All right, let's get this shadow card out here. What's happening in the shadows for Aquarius? Please. Good. Cool. All right, so we got the devil showing up. It's one of your zodiacal neighbors, big Capricorn vibes. If you have Capricorn placements, don't worry too much about this devil. But like when I see some of the things we saw in this week's reading, it's like, be careful what you insert yourself into. Be careful the situations you involve yourself into, because when the devil shows up in the shadows, it's a very sticky energy, right? The devil represents attachments, and once you open this Pandora's box, it's hard to close it. So in this time, there could be a lot of situations that could pull you in that you might either deal with the fallout for quite a while, especially with the devil. Now, the devil's not all bad. The devil can absolutely represent good energy when it comes to work, business, finance, anything about the material world, earning money. So if you're dealing with work things, this could actually be a good sign. The devil is also very predictable. But yeah, the downside is the attachment, and I feel like we do have this little Pandora's box thing here, where it's like, all right, well, if you open up that Pandora's box, be ready to be dealing with it for quite a while. But yeah, watch out for any sort of like addictions, attachments, or repeat cycles when we see the devil. So Aquarius, that's what I got for you this week, my friends. Don't click away just yet. I'm going to give you the details of the June subscriber surprise. If you would like further insight on your situation or you'd like to have a chat with me, you can book a personal session with me on my website, mastermetaphysics.com. My June calendar is live and spots go quick, so you could go check that out. But for the June subscriber surprise, doing another winner's choice. The winners, which will be three, will have a choice between either the Everyday Witches Tarot, which is a lovely tarot deck, one of my all-time favorites, or you can choose a custom pendant from my website, mastermetaphysics.com. So if you'd like to get your name in for that, it's two simple things. As always, my friends, first, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments, out of all the tarot cards in the deck, which one do you feel represents you and your energy best? You could even pick multiple if you'd like. You'll be entered to win, and at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab /post tab. My friends, much love, and I'll see you soon.